it's Megan. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 18. As you can tell, I'm just in bed, totally being a useless member of society, and I'm just not feeling 100% like I showed you guys or told you guys last night. I wasn't feeling very well when I got back from Michael's. I woke up this morning and I was feeling like pretty normal, but I just feel like not myself completely. Like I'm starting to get a little bit of a scratchy throat, and that could be from all the Taylor Swift screaming, singing that I do in the car. So that's that might not be a symptom. It might just be me being crazy. So I'm still loving the Reputation CD, and yeah, all the songs pretty much. I skip Look What You Made Me Do, and I usually skip on New Year's Day. But the rest I just jam to, man. I'm like trying to practice every single lyric so I know it all. And yeah. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about a really interesting short story that I read today. And it's in the New Yorker. It was from a few weeks ago, and it's called Cat Person. And it's like written, but it's also read by the author and you can listen to it. So I listened to it, and I honestly love listening to people talk. So I prefer like listening to audiobooks or something. And so it's cool that you can listen to this short story read by the author. And wow, this piece really, really struck me. And I think it will resonate with pretty much everyone that reads it. And basically it's about like a guy and a girl from the crush stage to having sex and afterwards. And sex is something I don't talk about on my channel. Most people don't talk about it just like in general. And that's basically what this short story is talking about. And it's such like the way that she wrote it is such like a common and like nonchalant way, but it's so unsettling how realistic and how true and how uncomfortable such a commonplace situation can make you feel when you really think about what's actually going on. And I really, 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 really recommend listening to it or reading it if you are in a relationship, if you're looking for a relationship, if you're between relationships and over relationships because of bad experiences. It's a really interesting thing to read or listen to and then think about to yourself, really question your own feelings about sex and expectations with a partner, communicating those expectations, communicating who you are and what you need as a partner or in a relationship. And this is something that I've definitely struggled with in any relationship that I was in, but I feel like I've pushed myself really hard in my current relationship to communicate. Always, first of all, within myself, think about why something is bothering me. And I'm a very like reactive, impulsive person, and that can lead to unnecessary like overreactions. And I've really tried with Michael because he's so like calm, like he's very expressive, don't get me wrong, but he's mostly like very like even-tempered and very understanding and patient, and I am not naturally that way. So I've really tried to push myself to be that way and to be understanding and take a step back when it comes to like putting yourself in someone else's shoes and trying to really see from their perspective instead of just being like, oh fine, whatever, I'll do what you say. Like to actually try to understand. And this short story has just led to so many feelings within me, and I typed out a whole thing to Michael, and I just feel so strongly about communication. And in this short story, yes, it's about sex and expectations within sex and within either like a casual partner or a serious partner. Like what is even, like, will it ever be even for women and men? Will men always have more pleasure than women? And what needs to be done to make it more even? And that's just an interesting concept within itself, and something that me and my girlfriends have definitely talked about a lot. And I don't know if men see that. Like, I don't know. I'm not a man, so I don't know. But it was really good for this to have me read this, and then for me to feel confident and sure enough within my relationship with my boyfriend to be able to talk to him openly about it, and to say, like, this is why this is upsetting in this story. This is way too realistic and something that society needs to work on. Like, I told him, I don't know if things will ever change, because things are so deeply ingrained in society between men and women being like, we're supposed to please people and be positive and like encourage people and like be there for them, and we're supposed to gain pleasure in giving pleasure, whether that's sexual or within like just emotionally. And that's kind of fucked up. Like, it shouldn't have to only be one-sided like that, and it shouldn't be an exception to the rule for a woman to have pleasure. And I feel very strongly about that, and I think all women should feel very strongly about that. And this story, it's so much more than what is on the surface, and that's what I think is so interesting and so great about talented writers. They can say something, but it means so much more, and it means something different to every person reading it, and that's why I think everyone should read it. I didn't even hear about this. Apparently it went viral when it first was published, but I never heard about it, so I don't know if it was like viral in certain like circles or what. But if you have not read it, please read it. Please discuss it with your partner or your friends or everyone you know, because it's a conversation that needs to be had, because the reason communication is so poor between partners and between like people that might like each other but are like kind of here and there is because we're not encouraged to talk about this kind of stuff. We're not encouraged to talk about sex. We're not encouraged to talk about like expectations. We just assume so much, and that's bullshit. Like, I was in a really shitty relationship where I was super, super passive, just let my boyfriend at the time say and do whatever he wanted, and I just kept a smile on my face and let him do what he wanted, because I thought that that's what you were supposed to do. And it's so sad to say that aloud, that I was like that, because I feel like I am so different than that, and I'm glad that I am so different than that now. And I was young then, and you just don't know certain things when you're younger, and especially if you don't have much experience with relationships or even just like life. Like, you don't know anything when I was in my freshman year of college, and I think I was a total idiot until pretty much when I graduated college. So like, it's really hard to verbalize these things because we never talk about them. And because we never talk about them, and because it's hard to talk about them, we continue not to talk about them. And I just won't accept that. I won't accept that that is just how it's supposed to be. And I told Michael, like, I really, really try to communicate with you, and I push myself to speak up even when I'm scared too, like not because I'm afraid of his reaction, but because it's just a vulnerable thing to do, to speak up about something that you're insecure about, or this or that, or whatever it is. And you also might feel scared because you don't want to hurt the other person, and some things might be taken the wrong way. But I feel empowered from my own strength and my own belief and my own positivity of myself and my worth, that I deserve to speak up. I feel empowered to speak to my boyfriend about these types of things, and if things don't feel good, or if it's not something that either emotionally doesn't make me feel good or physically doesn't make me feel good. And a lot of sexual stuff is so emotional, like it's physical, but it's very emotional, and sometimes you might not even realize like why you feel a certain way unless you like really deep dive into your brain and address those things and like really put pressure on yourself to be honest with yourself. Because if you can't even talk to yourself about these types of things, how can you ever talk to a partner about them? And that's what I've just really tried to teach myself this over the past few years, to ask myself the hard questions so then I can be more able to communicate with my friends, my family, my partner. And it's made a huge difference. It's made a huge difference within myself, and I feel like it's made a huge difference in all of my relationships, romantic, friend, family. And I feel just so much weight lifted off of my shoulders because I'm able to be more honest in a deeper way. Not just be like, I like that, I don't like that, like, whatever. I can actually try to pinpoint what I like or don't like, and what I need or don't need as a friend or as a partner. And this article is like, it centers all around sex, but you can really apply it to anything that has to do with communication, because the two characters in it, I would say all of their issues come from communication and the lack of trying to communicate. Because something else I've learned is that you have to be there. Like, just being somewhere, like, with people will get you farther than, like, I don't know how to put it into words. It's like, if you don't show up, you won't get to know people better, or you won't figure things out, or you won't this or that. Like, if you say no to everything and you wonder why you don't have any friends, it's because you're not there. You're not showing up. And if you're wondering why certain people are like kind of social butterflies or whatever, it's because they show up. They go, they do things, and they get to know people. And if you show up and you spend time with people, you will get to know them. Not to say you're gonna like everyone. Like, you might show up and be like, I hate you. But at least then you have a better understanding of people and of yourself and of the world. At least a small part of the world that you are in. And the whole idea of like expectation, and if people owe each other something in a sexual relationship, in a friendship, in any type of like partnership, at work, at whatever, like, do I owe this person something? And in a lot of cases, and in this short story, both people felt like they either were owed something or that they owed the other person. And when people start to expect something or think that they are owed something and they don't get it, they can react in a very volatile way, depending on their personality and depending on the circumstances. And as women, we're taught to just give what people think that they need, give more than what you think people need, give until people are happy, but people are never happy. So in this story, the female in it is really, like, it's so great because you can hear all of her thoughts. It's from, like, the third person. There's an omniscient narrator that's saying all of Margot's thoughts. So, as a woman, I could really relate to her thoughts of, like, oh, is this what he's thinking? He must be thinking this. And then she thinks a lot of stuff but never says it. And that's very dangerous. That, I think, is the most dangerous thing that any of us can do. And I don't think we should all say everything we think all the time, because I definitely think things, and I'm glad that I never said them. But if it's something important, like if it's something where you don't feel comfortable, and whether or not it's, like, you don't have to feel comfortable even if it's not a dangerous situation. Like, there was no true danger in this story. But if you don't feel comfortable with something, you should feel okay saying no, or saying that you have to leave, or saying, like, I don't want to see you again. But basically, it's easier to ghost people, and that's so shitty. And I've done that to people, and it's so shitty, and it's been done to me, and that's so shitty. And it's because of the lack of communication and the lack of trying to explain yourself, because it's just so much harder than just ignoring someone, and that is shitty. That is so shitty. And in Margot's case, it was because she felt like she had to keep, like, talking to this guy, because part of her felt that she owed him, and he felt like she owed her too. And it's really interesting because, for so many reasons, for literally so many reasons. And I would love to hear what you guys think about this, because I know this isn't a topic for everyone, and my thoughts are all over the place on this, but what it all comes down to me, is that we need to talk about this stuff, and we can't pretend that it doesn't happen. We can't pretend that people don't have sex all the time with strangers, with people they know. Like, it happens all the time. And within, like, couples, you need to talk about it. You need to talk about if you expect something from the other person, or if they expect something from you, and if they're angry if you don't give them what they want. And that's a very dangerous and abusive situation to be in, if someone expects something, and, like, if they have conditions on loving you. And that just breaks my heart into 1,000 pieces, even, like, saying that out loud. But there are so many situations where the love is not unconditional, and it's not, I love you for you, it's I love you for you when you do this, and it just makes you feel sick. So I could talk about this forever. I've been talking about it for like 20 minutes, but go read it or listen to it, talk to people about it, and if you don't feel comfortable talking to people about it, just reflect on it within yourself. And if something, like, really upsets you about this article or short story, reflect on that, and reflect on why that upsets you, because that, I think, shows more, like, it just is so enlightening to figure out why something upsets you. And that's something, like I said, that I really have been trying to work on. But damn, that short story was good, man, and I hope that the conversation broadens and continues to become a safe place. Like, I hope that women feel safe with men that they are with, and I hope that men feel safe with women that they are with, and I want it to go both ways. And right now, it seems like a lot of times women don't feel safe saying no to someone because of society, the pressures of society, and just the, like, what made me feel really safe and continues to make me feel really safe with Michael is that I can always say no to him. I can always feel confident knowing that he will not be upset if I don't want to do X, Y, or Z, whether that's sexual or not. That makes you feel very comfortable with someone, and like you don't have to be afraid. And it's something that I hope that everyone can have, and I know not everyone does, and I just really hope that people can have that, because it makes a huge difference in how close you feel with someone, and it's really amazing. So go read it or listen to it. I know that this video was already long, but I still have to do my sheet masks and stuff tonight, but it was good to talk this out with you guys, because as you can tell, there's a lot of thoughts that are going on in my mind, and if you read it, please let me know what you think about it. My skin needs hella moisture. I'm gonna do this Innisfree shea butter mask that I got for $1. To wash my face, I use the Amore Pacific Treatment Enzyme Peel, which makes your face literally softer than you can ever imagine. It's incredible. But I was really caught up watching Mrs. Maisel, the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. This is like a milky essence, so that's gonna be extra hydrating. But I was caught up watching that and I couldn't stop, and so I could have been wearing a mask like this whole time, but I just didn't. So now it's like 20 minutes before bed and I'm gonna have to do a mask now. But the Mrs. Maisel show is really good. I didn't know what it was gonna be about. I just knew that Rachel Brosnan, yeah, I think that's how you say her name. She was in House of Cards. She might still be in it, I don't know, I don't keep up with the show. But I loved her character. I thought that she was really interesting and she was a really great actress. So I was really excited to see that she is the star in a show. So she's absolute, oh my gosh, did this rip? Oh, this ripped. I can't see. That's why I'm like shocked. How did that happen? What the heck? I look even crazier than normal doing a sheet mask. But anyway, she's really good. It's a really interesting show. It's like, it's in the comedy category for the Golden Globes, but oh my gosh, I'm like ripping it again. But it's actually like a kind of serious topic. Like, it's not all funny, you know? I guess like all comedies aren't all funny, but it's really interesting. She's a really good character, like a really strong female lead, which you know I love to see. So, okay, this mouth hole is so small and it's off-centered and it's ripped. Alright, I'm gonna go catch up on Vlogmas, on other people's Vlogmas. A love sweater, yay! And I will see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 19. 19! Can you believe how close we are to Christmas? I'm freaking out, you guys. I'm freaking out. But I will see you tomorrow. Bye!